John, are you live?
We are live.
Hello and welcome to the interesting hour of Agape FM, nearer to you. It is Agape's Top 10 featuring myself, Tadley, and time is exactly 2 minutes past the hour of 3 on the 26th of March 2021. The reason why I always say this is the most interesting hour of the show, it is entirely because of the fact that we always have a guest right here in studio, and today we are joined by two phenomenal women, and they are doing so much phenomenal work. So I'm going to quickly read their bio before we start. So today we have Bernadette Hendersen is part of the CPF Community Forum. Along her, it is Nobesuthu. So Bernadette, she joined a partnership with NGOs for project. This project is for mental health wellness to support kids and adults that suffer from any mental issues like depression, suicide, anxiety, drugs, and trauma, etc. This all forms part of the Victim Support Center at the Walmer, South African Police Services, and this project falls under them organization. It is known as Claim Your Throne. It is an organization, NPO, based in Walmer location, whose aim is to empower and support women and children, not excluding men who are victims of gender-based violence. The initial purpose of the organization is to create a safe space and be a connection of help for all battered and exhausted victims who've disconnected with their true identity. Hello, ladies, and welcome to Agape FM.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Bernadette. Okay, I want us to first speak about, I'm going to ask you, how are you doing first?
I'm very good, thank you. You?
I am good as well. And how are you, Nobesuthu?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I am also good. So we're going to speak about the CPF. So for someone who has no idea what the CPF is, and I would like you to explain the whole term, because I know it's a community police forum.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like for you to elaborate and tell us more about the CPF.
Okay. So the Community Policing Forum is an organisation who we actually do projects, we oversee projects, and we assist the sectors, neighbourhood watches in our Walmer precinct. And we also assist the sectors if they want to have a project. But the CPF itself, we actually, every 3 months, we do a big project. So what we do is we assess what the problem is in the community. And we found that this is it. I work in the Victim Support Center, and the cases that we get, we actually analyse and say, okay, you know what? These are the biggest problems we have, so we're going to deal with them first. We have a lot of battered women and abused women that we assist. We get abandoned and abused babies that we deal with as well. And at this stage, depression and attempted suicide and suicide has been a big, big issue for the last couple of months. So the CPF decided to run this project through the Victim Support Centre and with Claim Your Throne, and we are basically going to do that. We're also going to launch a Facebook that's going to be interactive, where people can actually ask for help. So that's basically what the Community Policing Forum does as well.
So moving along to Nobesuthu, I want you to explain the Claim Your Throne, because I think that's where you come into all of this.
Yeah. So Claim Your Throne is an organization based in Walmer location. There's 3 of us, the ladies that are in Claim Your Throne. One is Patiswa Flepo, the other one is Pokazi Ndlovu, and me, Nobesuthu Ndlovu. So the aim for the organization is to empower and support, as you have written, to support and empower victims of gender-based violence. There's a number of programs that we do there to achieve our aims as the organization. Just to give you an idea, soon we will be shooting or live streaming topics where we will be talking about provocative conversations Say, for instance, to give an idea, maybe we'll be talking about rape. So obviously we'll have 2 survivors as testimonies, and then have 3 or 4 organizations outside, public or private organizations that will say, okay, I am so and so from this organization, this is what we do, this is the help we offer. And the reason for that is to actually reach out to everyone that is at home that don't know how to get help. And then to amongst other programs that we have, we've got 2 clubs. We've got a women club and we've got a men club. The initial idea for both the clubs is to create a space where each gender has got comfort to speak with most things that are affecting women. Say, for instance, the women club. On the women club, our main aim is to have women empowerment, because as an organization we believe empowered queens empower other queens. So the initial idea is to have hikes from time to time, have trails, have workshops where we speak about motherhood, we speak about body changes, we speak about gender-based violence, like everything that is affecting women, not only gender-based violence. And then on the main club, it's a similar thing. We speak about, well, that one is by men for men, even though it's an umbrella of gender, claim your throne as well. But on that one, specifically, we speak about fatherhood, we speak about situations that men mostly deal with. We have to remember that most men, or as a young boy, they deal with toxic masculinity. And then we bring a space where we bring those conversations to awareness. Because at some point, we believe that toxic masculinity can actually give birth to domestic violence. Because remember now, a young boy is taught at a young age that you're a boy, don't talk, you're a boy, you can't be bitten by a young woman and stuff like that. Then automatically you don't know that power that they were groomed in. They will think, or maybe when they're old enough, they think, oh, okay, this is the way for me to carry a woman, type of thing. So those are the conversations we bring in. We bring brotherhood. We talk about rape, because men are actually affected by rape as well. We talk about gender-based violence, because not only women are affected by gender-based violence, also men are also affected by gender-based violence. And then the last program we have, we've got a program with our kids. It's teenagers. Our age range is 14, 15, 16. And the program on that one, in most cases, if you're to spot on public schools, if there's an organization that is looking for kids, they look for the kids that are passing well at school, 80 plus.
Yes,
they're coming from good backgrounds, but our initiative as Claim Your Throne is to actually take the battered kids, take the kids who are coming from disadvantaged homes, take the kids who misbehave in classes, take the kids who are victims of depression and anxiety. Those are the kids we focus on. And then the idea for our kids is to actually offer what we do on Monday to Thursday. We've got after classes, so we sort out the academic side of our kids. We take them to educational expos, industrial expos, because bearing in mind, guys, we need to admit that as black people, we don't have so much opportunities that are open to us to experience certain industries. So what we do, say now, for a certain month, we'll take our kids to a manufacturing company where they will explore what's going on there. And the reason for that is to actually grow the determination and motivation on our kids, so that they grow more focus and more determination towards their matric and going forward to their academics and stuff like that. And then we've got now this new baby, this new project that we have with the Police Forum, knowing that mainly our basics and one of our pillars is to focus on depression and anxiety. So we blended in with Bernadette, spoke about it, and decided, you know what, how about we bring this? Because mental illness is one of the subjects that are actually put under carpet and not in so much focus.
More especially in black societies.
That's the reality of things.
It's always, depression is for the whites, anxiety is for the whites.
That's the reality. That's the reality of things.
Coming back to what you said about boys, which is also true, I think we tend to focus more on the girl child, forgetting that the boy child is responsible of handling or being the head of the household. So it all depends how the boy was groomed in order for the boy not to be abusive. It all depends on that. So I want to ask you, what made you start this beautiful initiative? Like, what made you start this thing? Because it has to come from experience or something that you saw and you felt like, okay, I need to do something about this.
Yeah, so as I've stated before, that I'm not the only one in the organization.
Yes.
So the three of us, we actually have past experiences, and I won't say who and who was affected. You know what I mean? One was affected by domestic violence. One was affected by like something else. So we came in, and then we decided, you know what, guys, there's a problem. There's actually a problem, and we wanted to be a connection and a link and a help for women. To some other assistances that we get, we do have a connection with Yokuselo. So in any case, we get a call and say, hey Jen, look, I need help. My husband is beating me up and I actually don't know where to run to. That's where we come in as an organization. We call them and say, okay, this is the place we can go to. We wanted to be a link in between. So for assistance for people that are affected by gender-based violence. So as we were researching and diving into the issues that are surrounding gender-based violence, we noticed that not only are women affected, not only are kids affected, also men are affected. And then that reality gave birth to other programs that we were doing so that we reach our main aim.
Okay, thank you. So coming back to you, Bernadette, I want to ask you, what made you want to join partnership and do works for NGOs?
Well, especially with Claim Your Throne, what actually happened is Jennifer actually came into the station with the other two ladies and spoke to one of the colonels and said they would like assistance and they would like to help us and form a relationship. I then got hold of Jen, we had a meeting, and I have discovered that there is so much depression and attempted suicide in the Xhosa culture at the moment, which we've never, ever experienced. Because to them, depression is a taboo.
Yes.
You keep quiet, you go on, especially the women. So we joined up with them and we asked them to assist us because we need to educate the community, to let them know it's okay if somebody in your family is depressed. It is okay to ask for help. So we did that. Also with regards to the gender-based violence, it's no use us actually educating the women and the young girls. We also have to educate the men because we need to stop that. It's a circle that's been going on for years and years and years. So what happens is if you grow up in a home where you see that as a normality, you're going to do it again.
Yes.
So Jane actually mentioned Yokusela.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working with them for years. So when we get the battered woman, we actually phone Yokusela as well. And Rachel is amazing.
She
you
is
know,
an amazing
yeah,
woman.
I'll say to her, do you have space for me? In actual fact, I'm working on a case at the moment that came in yesterday where we're going to take the lady and her small child to Yokusela. It keeps them safe. They're given a chance. I mean, we help the ladies with the process. And what is basically happening, especially with lockdown, we've got a lot of poverty. It's made it worse. So depression and attempted suicide and suicide is not only there, it's across the board in Walmer. And we actually get asked by other stations as well to assist because we've got that. So we analysed, and I was actually very shocked because of the amount that was going on in Walmer location that had never been stacked. So it was a great concern for me. So that's when I said to Jennifer and the ladies, we need to make an awareness campaign, make a big launch, and actually educate moms and dads with signs of depression, see if they're going to attempt suicide. And I would like to start a support group for parents who have lost men within the family due to actual suicide and depression because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't have the resources like us where we can go see psychologists, psychiatrists, counsellors, and we actually provide that for free so that they know they've got support. There is people there to actually help them through the process and they're not alone. So that is what started the initiative.
And the fact that like in the black community, as we just like said, that depression or mental health is not taken seriously.
No.
Because a lot of people, like more especially in black homes, you can't be depressed.
No.
And how do you tackle the conversation of making people speak out about depression? How do you tackle that? And how do you get people to come to you and ask for help?
Well, it was word of mouth. I find that the families in the township, actually, I will help one family, and then they will tell another family, and that's how it goes. Because what I'm trying to explain to the parents as well is the fact that they're depressed and they know they can't deal with it, so they turn to drugs, which becomes a major problem. Because when they actually come in and they are drug addicts and we're trying to help them get off, we're trying to look at the core of the problem. And that core always says they were feeling depressed, they felt alone, they couldn't approach their family because it's taboo. So, yeah.
And so to add to what Bernadette is saying, okay, going back to your question, I don't think it's entirely neglected, the subject of depression.
People are not aware.
We're not aware about it. We don't know what is
depression. Yes.
And I would actually admit as well, I didn't know that I had depression. It's only when you know the signs of depression and what is depression that you would know that this is depression. That's the problem with the black community, is that we're not aware of what is depression. So say for instance, you see now, okay, there's a child there that is less self-confident, they're not so active anymore, loss of appetite, and all other symptoms of depression. As a black parent, I would say, this child is being naughty or whatever the case may be.
Yes, she's going through
you know what I mean?
Adolescent stage.
Exactly.
It's nothing to worry about.
So you actually, so you actually give it a certain description because you don't know what is. So I think that's where we come in, bringing in the awareness. I think the more people are aware of what is depression, what is anxiety, the more we bring the awareness, I think then only then people will spot, okay, my child is actually not being naughty. I'm actually normal. I'm just dealing with depression. For instance, when I was doing my research, Bernadette, about depression, I noticed that death is actually a result of, it could be a result of depression.
Yes.
No one deals with that. We had COVID now. As African people, in most cases, when someone passes away, there's that 2 weeks of prayer.
Yes.
Because of COVID, we didn't have that, and that was actually some kind of therapy for us. When we go through prayer and stuff, we didn't have that. Then who deals with the emotional side? Who deals with the mental side? Who tackles that? Who gives that attention? Then when you relapse and when you're showing all these signs of depression, when you're not even aware about, who tackles that? That's where this campaign is coming in then, to give people awareness that this is depression, that you're normal, that you're okay, that there is help out there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, what are the first signs of depression? Because I'm sure there's someone listening and they don't know whether they're depressed or they're going through like a rough stage of their life. What are the first signs that you have to look for when you know that you're depressed before you even self-diagnose yourself?
Yeah. Okay, get with me. I'm not a clinical psychologist, but with my research, I would give you the most common symptoms, and Bernadette, I'm sure, would assist me on that. Obviously, you lose interest on certain things. Say now you are an active person, so somehow you lose interest. You lose, you're hopeless, you feel helpless, you're uninterested in things. Loss of appetite, I notice as well, could be the reason. You prefer sleeping a lot. So if there's one thing that's an umbrella of everything, it's actually the loss of interest, the loss of hope, the loss of seeing reality, the loss of seeing meaning. And sometimes you think to yourself, it doesn't even matter if I was alive or not. So that then trends to suicidal thoughts. So those are some of the reasons that causes depression from my research.
Okay, can I ask you a question? And if you're not comfortable with answering the question, you can just tell me that, okay, you're not comfortable.
Okay.
I want us to go to your personal life, because I believe in testimonies. To anyone that is listening, I think you get a better understanding when someone tells you that I've been through this. So I want us to tackle your depression, and how did you know that you were depressed, and what did you do to seek help?
Okay, so I think mine had God's intervention on it, because there was no therapy that I had to go to. It's only when we spoke with Bernadette about this project that I had to go back and research. Then when I was researching about depression, I noticed that, goodness, at this certain year I had depression, because I all the symptoms resonate with me. And then with me, domestic violence was something that I was affected by. And then domestic violence is one of the reasons that causes depression. And I was in it for a very long time. So when we were busy with this project, I noticed, okay guys, now sharp, I did have depression. Because I was moving so fast like a headless chicken. And those are the other reasons. There's abnormalities in your behavior as well when you have depression. So I think God did intervene with my therapy. I love music a lot. It was one of the things that I used to find therapy. Prayer was one of them. Meditation was one of them. So I actually gave myself to pray. And another thing that was bad about me is that I'm stoic and I don't talk. That's the problem. Most of my friends would come to me for help. So I would hide when situations were happening to me. It's only when I hit rock bottom that I noticed, guys, I actually need to speak. I need to speak about my situations. I need to give my mind and my heart attention. That's when I sought help. So I think some of the things, and actually writing down my issues was one of the therapies that I used that worked for me.
Because that's what we tell a lot of the adults and the children, is that you need to write down on a daily basis. Today I feel like this. I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning or what the case is. Tomorrow they have a better day. And I always say to them, you know what, 3 months from now, you're going to be in a better place. Go back in your diary and see how you felt that way 3 months ago and how you've actually come through it and what you have used to actually get through it. Because the problem is as well, and I find it a lot in the Walmer location, these kids see things every day that traumatizes them. So they try to give this impression that, no, it didn't traumatize me, I'm fine.
I'll get over it.
I will get over it. And then before you know it, like she said, the symptoms, the biggest one is withdrawal and the grades dropping at school. So you'll find that a child is brilliantly, all of a sudden the grades have dropped. They're not attending school. Their parents think they are, but they're not. So to me that's also, and then they withdraw, and then they don't want to interact with their friends anymore. So that is a big thing, and people don't see it because they were taught when they were young, there's no space for depression in this house.
Yes.
There's no space for anything. So, and then when I look at the way that people have actually committed suicide, the way that they do it, you realize that they are desperate. You see, these people, when they get to that depression, they don't know where to go. They find that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And unfortunately, suicide has been labelled by society as they are cowards.
Yes, indeed, because like you run away from your troubles, from all your problems, you're not able to face them.
And the thing is that when a person gets to that point where you see nothing at the end of the tunnel, it's not that you're being selfish when you do it. You're literally in a space where you're not thinking about anybody in your family. You don't want to punish anybody in your family. You just get in so deep that you actually don't.
Yes, with the mindset that you're setting yourself free from whatever that you're feeling.
That's right.
Okay. So I want to ask, like, working with so much cases, I can't imagine what it can cause to you as a person. How is the impact of working with this is like so heartbreaking, and how is it that the impact in your mental health and in your well-being, and how do you deal with all of this?
I have an amazing daughter. So when I get home, when it has been a really bad day or a bad night and something has affected me, when I get home I sit in my car for 10 minutes and I try and get rid of that. My daughter is a great, not a physical, an emotional punch bag, and she listens. She actually listens, and she'll say to me, Mum, you know this, or Mum, because she's also studied to be a teacher, and they have to do a form of psychology as well. And I actually started researching all of this 13 years ago, where I researched the medication people can use, what they can do. So yes, sometimes I do get affected emotionally and mentally. If I cannot go to my daughter, I have a psychologist that I pick up the phone, and then she debriefs me and she listens and she says to me, okay, you need to do this. Sometimes the cases affect me that's got to do with children. I had one where I literally slept 2 hours a night for 3 weeks. I was extremely traumatized in that. But I find that the more I deal with it and the more time goes on, I've actually got coping mechanisms that actually help me. So one thing that you have to do is you have to emotionally remove yourself from it. You have to deal with it, and if I feel that, okay, this case is getting too much, I will deal with it, but I will then take some time out. So that's how I deal with it.
The question goes to you as well.
How do I deal?
Yes.
it's exactly how I said it. I've got, lucky with us, né, in our organization, we've got parties of a social worker.
Okay.
So we actually have her to run to. When I've got Ulumka as well, she's also a social worker. So I would actually reach out to her. But most things that are therapeutic to me is actually music. I listen to music and I write a lot. So I would write on how I feel. Because you know what? Reality is people tire. They tire from listening. That's a sad thing. That's a sad reality. They tire because they're humans and it's normal. And I use prayer a lot. At least I know I will be taking it out from my system. Lock my room and cry it out. Because that's another sad thing about me that I want to unlearn. It's actually keeping or bottling my feelings within me, not cry. But when I'm in a space of prayer, I let it all out.
Yes,
yeah,
you do. You literally hand it to God, put it at His feet, and I've had to learn not to pick it up again tomorrow morning. So when you put something at God's feet, to take it away, don't pick it up back, because you've given it and you don't take it back in the morning. So that's also pulls me through a lot.
They're taking it back, but
I am also like, it's so hard. Like, how can you say like I'm leaving this baggage and I'm not coming back, and you don't come back?
Goodness.
No, it is. It's very difficult, but you get there.
Okay, I believe that there are so many women that you have helped, and I want to know what happens. What do you have like positive cases where someone was so depressed and they came to ask for assistance from you or from the Claim Your Throne, and what is the feedback? Is it always positive, or do people overcome depression, or others end up committing suicide?
I have not had any of my cases that actually committed suicide.
So it all goes well.
It goes well, but they do have their relapses, and then they phone, and I see them again, and we go through the same process, and I try to find out why they relapsed and how we can get through that relapse. We have a huge amount of successes, but sometimes the women are okay, and the children for years sometimes, and then all of a sudden something happens. I actually call it that we have little boxes in our brains, and we can only deal with one box at a time. So when you actually counsel them and assist them, you choose a box that they can at that time cope with. And then you open up that box and all the worms come out and you deal with it. Once they've dealt with that, you can actually go back. But we also tell them, I always say to them, tell me what you want to tell me. If it's recently or if it's something that happened years ago, you need to be comfortable telling me. So then we can give them options, we can help them through a process. A lot of women think that once they're in an abusive relationship, they can't leave because of financials, and they've got children.
Yes.
And who's going to take care of my children? Who's going to do this? How am I going to feed my children?
Yes, I have to say, because I have to stay in this relationship for the sake of my children.
Exactly.
And sometimes because of society as well.
And a lot of these women don't make it. The next time the partner beats them, it's worse. And then it gets worse. So I've heard of a couple of cases that I actually haven't dealt with, but when I've got across it, I thought, wow, where these women didn't make it. The last time these men beat them, they killed them. And then you've got to deal with the kids. So the kids don't want to go through that trauma because dad did it. So now we can't do anything about it. So I get a lot of those children, sometimes only when they reach teenage style, because I find that a lot of the children that come in that are severe drug users, when you actually start looking at the core of the problem, you will see it was trauma. They never got support from anybody to get through it, and they then turned to drugs to numb themselves. But we've also had a lot of successes with those children. So there's a lot of good, but the bad.
And that's what we must accept about
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah.
There's always good and bad. So I want us to talk about, I saw something here on Facebook that I'm going to quickly look for, which is, it says, be nice to your mind.
Yes.
I want us to talk about that, which it's a Mental Health Awareness Day on the 10th of April 2021. I want us to go there and talk about that.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Yes, please. I'll briefly talk about the be nice
To your mind.
to your mind concept.
Which is so hard. I find it so hard to do that, to be nice to myself, because I'm always hard on myself.
Listen, if we are patient with everything and with everyone,
Yes, but when it comes to
to
ourselves,
yourself, that's the problem. We don't have perseverance when it comes to us. So the phrase "be nice to your
To your-
mind"
yes.
is very important. You drink water to give hydration to your body. You eat nutritional food to give health. But what do you do to feed your mind?
yes,
What do you do to take care of yourself holistically? What do you do to attend to yourself? Those are the other questions you need to ask yourself. So that's where the concept comes in, being nice to your mind. We are actually too hard to ourselves. Listen, there was this conversation I had with a friend of mine, I think yesterday, talking about our constitution, that when you're 35, you're no longer youth. So we're busy trying to dive in and understand, okay, I don't know who came up with that, and I don't know the reasons behind it. I'm not sure if maybe you're incompetent when you're 35, but that's not the point. The moral of the story about that was that, can you imagine when you say now I am 31, do you understand the pressure you're going to have
yes, for the next four
the next 4
of your
years?
life.
You're staying with a mother that is diabetic. You're trying to save for education. And yet you're trying to run so fast that when you reach 35, at least you've got your car, you got your house, you
Yes,
got
and-
that. But reality is not allowing you to do that. Then we ask ourselves, why are there so many young people who've got depression? It's those little petty things that there's so much pressure that we put on our heads. You can have friends, you can have a lot of people who might say bad things to you. But there's one worst enemy, it's yourself.
Yes, it
You
is.
wake up in the morning and you look at yourself and you're like, yo guys, I'm not happy with my face, I'm not happy with my weight, I'm not happy with how I am and all of that. You're enough pressure already. And your mind has to digest that, it has to marinate it, it has to think about it. You have to divide what's good and what is bad just by yourself. And we put so much pressure in us. So that's where the concept comes in. We actually need to come down and just be nice to ourselves. We need to be nice. We need to be patient.
How do you be nice? How do you do that? How can I be nice to myself? Do I compliment myself when I look in the
Please.
mirror? Even when I see like, okay, this is not good.
One thing that I believe, everything starts in the mind. Everything begins there. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to believe that you will be a lawyer. If you think that you're beautiful, you actually need to convince yourself first. Anything else that comes outside your surface, it's an addition or a bonus. Everything starts with you. Even with depression that we're talking about. If maybe you want to accomplish depression, you actually need to tell yourself that, okay, you know what? I'm valuable. That's number one. With me, it's a different story. I'm more spiritual and I'm more God-reliant. So when I reflect, I'm like, you know what? There's a man who died for me.
Yes.
So if there's a man that died for me,
It means you are
God
good.
knows I'm
Yes, and
valuable.
yes.
I'm extremely valuable. So I don't care what reality brings in my plate. God knows I'm extremely valuable. So that's my runaway place. I'm not sure on someone who doesn't believe. I don't know how they can cope. But with me, that's how I cope. I reflect on the man that died for me and be like, no, man, no, I'm good.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are. Okay,
And
moving along to you now. Yes, we're still going to talk about this Be Nice Mental Awareness Day.
Mm-hmm. You know what, being nice to your mind is very important. How I deal with it is I enjoy my garden. I plant seedlings. I do that. I do my decoupage. I read. You know, just to switch off. And then it actually does rejuvenate. So what we need to actually teach people is that even if you take one day for yourself, just one, to actually sit down and think, you know what, I enjoy doing this, I enjoy doing that. And to focus on that, just for that day, regardless of what it is. So that, I think, is going to be a very difficult thing to do.
True.
Especially when you are a mother, a wife, and you're working. It's very difficult because a lot of women feel guilty because they don't spend too much time with their kids, so they do.
Yes.
They go to a bad place and they don't know how to balance. I think with being nice to your mind is helping people to get a balance in their life. And some people need to learn the word no.
Yes.
Something that I'm very guilty of. I cannot say no. I really cannot. So you spend 14 hours a day with that, And you think, okay, I'm going to go home now. And another victim arrives. And then you deal with it. And before you know, you've been there 20 hours. So it is, you have to actually take time for yourself, which I'm learning to do. It's a slow process, but you did. You actually do. But it is very important with this awareness project to actually, not only women,
Yes.
men as well.
Men as well. And I think it should begin with men.
It's a
True.
mindset.
It should begin with men. Because GBV is mostly because of men. When we're being honest, it's because of the guy, of the husband, of the father. It's always the case. So if the father is not nice, then the whole home is in big
And the
trouble.
unfortunate thing with regards to GBV is when the dad passes away, regardless of how old the son is, he immediately becomes the head of the family.
Yes.
And I don't know what the mindset is, but they end up being the perpetrator. They continue. They actually beat their moms.
Which I don't understand. Like, you did not like it when your father did it, but why are you doing the same thing that you did not like?
Sure. And
I don't understand that
it's so
mindset.
sad.
Like, you should pride yourself with doing the good thing, being righteous, because you did not like it when your father did it to your mother, but I don't understand it.
And you actually get them as young as 15 who are abusing their moms. When they break their arms, they lock them out the house, let's not go there. They're terrible.
I think this goes back to what I mentioned about toxic masculinity.
Yes.
And going back to suppressed feelings. At some point, we need to agree, ladies, that we men are not allowed so much capacity of talking as we are.
And men are not allowed to cry in black
That's the thing.
societies.
That's the
Men
thing.
are
That's
not
the problem.
allowed to cry. You can't cry.
If, say, now comes my boyfriend because I'm like, please, man up. What
Yes.
is that? What is
You
it?
are a weakling. You can't be crying.
Where do those feelings go? They're all bottled.
Yes.
Then we get shocked when they're booming. What happens to those feelings? They're not attended to. And if there could be a way where there could be a decrease in gender-based violence, we mustn't only look at the victims. We need to actually pay attention to perpetrators as well.
Yes.
Attend to the fact that, why are you acting like that?
Yes. What was the reason?
What is the reason? What's the root cause? Because everything, I feel, a stained root actually gives fruits to a stained fruit. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Yes.
The problem is if we leave childhood situations unattended,
Yes, they come back to haunt
they
you.
come back and haunt you. And anything that the point that you guys are talking about, okay, the dad passed away and then the son looks at that. Can you imagine that little boy grew up believing this is the way to treat a woman? So there's nothing wrong with me with beating my girlfriend. There's nothing wrong with me because I have been grown in a home that says I am a man and the only say that I have is power. So my power is in my physique. And same again with us in our culture. We are groomed, Bernadette, in a belief that ubuhle bendoda zinkomo. If I were to explain that, the value of a man is equivalent to his pocket.
Yes.
So
His
when
financials,
you know what I
yes.
mean. So now when he doesn't have money,
He
he's
uses
not a man
the
enough.
other yes, and he uses other powers of
being a man, because
Yes.
eventually he believes I'm a man. I actually need to have a say here. I need to be a leader. So how am I going to lead when I can't lead financially? I can't lead in this way. These are the other subjects we need to bring in that we're not ready to talk about as a society.
and I'm thinking that a lot of people lost their jobs during 2020, and I'm so afraid of what has happened to so many homes where the father lost his job, the husband lost his job, and how is he going to react with that?
And then I come now as a wife and be like, "Ubuhle bendoda zinkomo." Then what happens then? So you can't say, you don't have a say because you're not working. You can't be a father enough because you're not working. Because your value is equivalent to your pocket. These are the other things we need to unbecome and unlearn as a society. I feel if we need to practice gender equality,
Yes.
we mustn't only attend to gender equality based on more women. It needs to be balanced. We need to reach a balance that says we are all valuable. We all matter. We are all humans. We all have feelings. There's nothing wrong with a man wearing pink. You're still a man if you cry.
There's nothing.
You're
yes.
a real man. There's you're normal.
And you are a real man. It means that you can actually express your emotions.
Oh, guys.
I don't like the words black and white. Everybody, as you know, I don't like that. But during COVID, the women in the white communities have started coming forward after years of abuse because it's a shame. So in the white community, you don't tell anybody. Your husband beats you. He drinks and then he comes home. There's emotional abuse. There's financial abuse. There is physical, verbal. And unfortunately, emotional and psychological abuse does not show on the outside like a bruise.
Yes.
And then they lose their self-worth. And then they get to a point where I can't leave, so I will commit suicide. And then I'm out of that situation, and maybe my kids will have a better life. You'll treat them better. So in that it has escalated. But the sad part is it's been going on for years and years and years. The white women are just too scared to come forward because they're scared of what their friends are going to say.
Yes.
Their husbands hold high positions, so they feel that they actually cannot go there. So they take it.
How do we break that and make people feel free to speak about whatever ill treatment that they receive?
We've done a lot of training with women, and I've done some training with community members as well, where we give them 2 booklets. We had a run with that in 2019, where we had booklets, and you hand it. And in it actually describes, because they go, what's emotional abuse? We don't know what emotional abuse is. So you tell them what it is. You tell them what financial. You tell them about the gender-based violence, because they always think that gender-based violence is a man and a woman. It's not. It's man on man. It's woman on a woman. So the perception of the fact that it's only women is incorrect, that a man gets beaten. So it is actually very rife in the white community as well, especially in the last year, where women have actually reached the fact that I'm locked in this house with this man. And generally they turn on the children. So when they turn on the children, that is when the moms decide, I actually have to go and get help. So
You ladies are doing such a phenomenal job in educating people about mental health, making everyone aware of it, which I think it is a one step. It's a one step close to breaking the cycles and everything that
and silence.
Yes, as well as the cycles. Don't you have like any last words, or maybe something that you want to say I did not ask? Where you feel like, okay, she did not ask me this, and I wanted to speak about this.
To me, it's about educating, to make this woman, to break the silence, to come forward.
Yes, and
to
not be
made
ashamed.
Absolutely not. I always tell them, you don't have to be ashamed because you didn't do anything. They should be ashamed for doing it to you.
Yes, and the problem is not with you.
No, and they think that that's what they deserve. So, for me, it is about making them comfortable, to come forward, to know that they have actually got support. So for this program is very, very important because I'm extremely passionate about, the gender-based violence, the depression, suicide, because we deal with families that have got members that have done that. So to me, it's very important to make them aware, to break the silence.
Okay, and then with me, I've got 2 points that I would like to highlight. The first one is going to a relative or a friend that has someone that is still involved in an abusive relationship. One thing that I would like to say to them, do not give up on your friend. Don't do it. It doesn't matter how long they've been in that relationship. Do not give up on them. Because that thing is a cycle. Today it's happy days. Tomorrow you get beaten up. Tomorrow is a sad day. Then you get beaten up again. But it gets worse and worse and worse. So because you've been in this umbrella for a very long time, you've actually put yourself in a university of succumbing to such reality. So when you get assistance and people are saying to you, girl, you're still beautiful, you're still amazing, you're worth it, there's life out there, you will be happy, you'll get your dreams, don't give up, there is help out there. So one thing I would love to say is, do not give up on your friend, or do not give up on that relative. It doesn't matter how long you've been begging them to leave. Don't do it. And to the person that is still in there, do not give up on yourself as well. Do not. You actually don't have to be a statistic.
No.
You don't have to pass. Just give yourself confidence and believe and pray. Pray to leave. We need to pray to leave bad relationships, because it's not easy. It's an emotional thing. It's not like you're going to remove your clothes and then you're gone from that relationship. It's an emotional attachment. There's love involved. There's emotions involved. There's everything involved. So when that is involved, we actually need to reach out to a higher power, which is not us. We need to run to God and pray that God give me strength, and He is able.
And if you are rich spiritually, like you can overcome anything.
You're filthy rich.
Yes, you can overcome anything.
And then the last point I would like to highlight, which you didn't speak about, is the main reason we're here. We on the 10th of April.
Yes.
We will put it on Facebook and other social media platforms. The event or the launch will be on the 10th of April in Walmer. So yes, the launch is going to be in Walmer, but it's not only for Walmer people. No. It's for Walmer and surrounding areas. But just that me and Bernadette and the organizations we come from, they Walmer based or Walmer babies. We thought, okay, let's start home, because charity begins at home. So then we reach out to other places. But I think we will communicate the program as in when it's going to start the minute we get all the information together. But it is official that we have on the 10th.
Yes,
of April.
What are your aims with this project? Like, what is going to happen with this program? What is going to happen on the 10th?
Okay, we'll assessment this now. So the main idea for that day is actually to bring in awareness. So we'll have pamphlets giving in to people that this is depression, this is that. We've got a huge support from the police forum in different departments in the police forum. We've got a huge support from Claim Your Throne as well. We've got a huge support from community members as well. So the main aim is to bring in awareness and to say to people, we are these people from these organizations. This is the little baby that we're growing, and this is where you can find help. There will be ongoing sessions. There will be one-on-one sessions. There is help. There will be psychologists planned for you guys. So you can reach us out on Facebook, ask for help. What is depression? If my baby is dealing with this, what's going on? So mostly that day, the main aim is to actually say there is help. And then we can circulate more information on our Facebook page. Then we will have a hotline where people can call in and say, okay guys, I think I'm spotting that I've got depression. What must I do? Then we will definitely attend to you even on Facebook as well.
Okay, can you please leave your Facebook handle so that people can go check on your Facebook page?
All right. So for the project, it's mental health. And then for Claim Your Throne, it's Claim Your Throne. It's got foundation, forgive us for that. We're not a foundation, but it's Claim Your Throne Foundation on Facebook. It's Claim Your Throne on Instagram. We also have our number on Facebook as well, where you can reach Claim Your Throne. And then we've got all this sorts of pictures where you can look in, see when we have our events with our kids, when we're taking them out, our women club, and soon enough we'll put pictures on our men club as well. Yeah.
And then what we have done is we are going to have one phone with a dedicated number, so that we will make that aware. We will put it up at the police stations, we'll put it in counsellors' offices, we will put it up at clinics. So, and then we will rotate so that one person isn't constantly called. So we will rotate. Jennifer will have it, I will have it, Lindy will have it, the two other ladies will have it. And then when it's your turn, you have the phone, and it's a dedicated number. Because unfortunately, getting your own personal number, it's going to be overloaded.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah. So we will circulate that as well. As soon as we have that number for the dedicated phone, that will go on pamphlets, it will go on posters. So it will be out there so they know who to call.
Okay, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And I hope whatever that you're spreading spreads through masses, and a lot of people reach out to you, and you guys be able to help a lot of people. And I am so proud of the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much.
Here's two strong women. May we know them, and may we be them and also raise them. Thank you to Nobesuthu and Bernadette. And if you have missed this interview, you are more than welcome to go check it on our website, which is Agape Online Radio. Thank you so much.